Okay, let's take a look at the CG7 iron from Cleveland Golf. This is new for 2009. It's a pretty exciting club for them. They actually have two irons coming out, the CG7 and the CG7 Tour in this category. Let's take a look inside the CG7. Okay, starting with the heel-toe weighting of the CG7 iron. If you look at the heel and the toe, which is starting with the heel right there in the middle of the screen and the toe there in the middle of the screen, you can see those two black features there. They kind of look like eyelids, actually. If you look closely, I'm trying to move the club around so you could see it. But basically what those are two areas of concentrated weight, and by having more weight on the heel and toe of the iron, you essentially make it more playable. You make it easier to hit. You don't see a lot of twisting and turning on off-center hits like you do maybe in a blade or something like that. Heel-toe weighting makes the iron a lot more forgiving and a lot easier to hit. You can see them there. Looking at it from the golfer's perspective, you can see it's relatively straightforward. You can see a little bit of the offset there. The top line, even though it's bored out on the other side, it still retains some thickness. That's because it really helps inspire some confidence for the higher handicap or mid-handicap golfers out there to know that they've got some meat behind the ball, and they don't need to feel like they need to necessarily always hit it in the center of the face. By having that extra thickness up there, it adds some confidence to those types of players. So, but generally it's a pretty straightforward look from this perspective. And going back here again, you can take a look at another feature from the cavities angle. It's called the 360 gel back insert. Now what that is, that's that yellow ring, more or less, as you see it from this perspective, that goes all the way throughout the inside of the cavity. And I'll try and move the iron here. You can see it even fills a big chunk down there and goes all the way around here and all the way around there. That's a very soft material that does two things. It reduces vibration, and the reduction of vibration means more energy transfer into the ball. And two, it really helps promote a good sound and a really soft feel. In fact, I think these irons feel as good as a forged blade when I hit the sweet spot. It's really hard to determine one from the other. The shiny area in the middle, as you can see here, the real flashy part, that's a medallion covering the 360 gel back insert. So you have the insert, the medallion, and a club that just feels marvelous in your hands. Looking at it from here, you can see that there is some generous offset. It's not too much like you used to see in the Super Game Improvement irons from Cleveland. Not quite that much, but as you can see, there is some. That's a welcome feature for players who want to hit the ball higher and not slice as much. So you have just a little bit of offset there. Not too much, and it is progressive. It gets higher. This is a 4 iron, so you see more here than you do in the 7 iron. So it does get more progressively offset the lower the iron you choose to play. Okay, and now we're back to this angle here. If you take a look at the cavity of the club, you can see what I'm about to talk about. This is called the MCT technology of the CG7 iron. And essentially what that is that's removing weight, and I'll try and point with my pencil here. Removing weight from this area here. In fact, there's two cavities. They're hard to see because they're black, but they removed a bunch of weight from behind the top line and repositioned it up in here. And so by doing that, you lower the center of gravity, making the irons, again, easier to hit and easier to get airborne for longer and straighter shots. That's called the MCT technology. And back to this angle of the CG7. Again, there are two options to choose from this year. This being the CG7, the other being the CG7 Tour, which has a more compact shape, a little less distance from the heel and toe, a thinner top line, a thinner sole, and it's slightly less offset than this version here. As far as trying this iron, I certainly enjoyed hitting it. I did hit the ball higher, I did hit it farther. I did feel like if I wanted an iron that had both those things with a hint more lean towards shot making ability, I'd probably choose the CG7 Tour. But then again, for a player looking for distance and forgiveness and ease of usability, this iron is great. This is a good choice for anybody in that category. So again, CG7 and CG7 Tour, not shown, but also available in golf shops all over the world. Look for them.